Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as the Tennessee Titans get it done. They beat the Houston Texans 41-38 and win the AFC South Division title for the first time since 2008. Now, I am dressed like this because the Titans are kings of the South, right? Something that I promised, by the way, after their victory over the Indianapolis Colts a number of weeks ago. This was not a very impressive game for us, to be honest with you. I expected the Titans to win this game 40-20, not 41-38. And we have plenty of things today that we are going to discuss and not be happy about. But there's a lot to be happy about, especially offensively, so it's cause for celebration. And unfortunately, this might be the last win we have because, man, this defense. Going into the playoffs, people, I'm excited. It's the playoffs, but man, this defense is giving us problems right now. But we're going to start positive today. Let's start bloody positive before we go into the negative. And let's start with Mr. Derrick Henry, with King Henry himself gaining over 2,000 rushing yards. I'm not even sure what the final amount was, but it was at least 2010, maybe over 2020. How funny would that be? Rushing yards they ended up with had 250 rush yards today, and he needed 233. So I think 2017 rushing yards should be his final season total. Franchise record for us. An insane year. People discussed before the season the potential of him having over 2,000 rushing yards. I didn't buy it really for a second. But the guy proved me wrong because I just thought we were going to pass the ball too much. But he ran for 5.5 yards a carry this season, almost damn near like 5.4 yards a carry. Insane. Doing that and running as much as we do, yeah, you're going to get over 2,000 yards, and that's what he got. And he's just continued to solidify himself as potentially the best Tennessee Titans running back ever. People, I know we love Eddie George. Eddie George wasn't this good. Chris Johnson was this good at times for, at least 3 years. So the question is, can Derrick Henry do it for more years? That's what we need to see. And then Earl Campbell, I'm not really worried about Earl Campbell. I'm worried about the Tennessee Titans history, not really the Houston Oilers. Okay, that's just me. So Derrick Henry over 2,000 rushing yards. And not only that, people, but it is time. A.J. Brown is E-L-I-T-E. He is elite, people. And this is how I wanted to crown him his elite title, with a game like this, with a performance like this, to solidify us a playoff spot in a big spot. What do you have today? 10 or 11 catches? I want to say 10 catches on how many targets? On 11 targets. Didn't have a drop today and showed up on a day where Corey Davis was having his issues and then having the big catch at the end of the game. Great throw by Ryan Tannehill, by the way. We're going to get into Ryan Tannehill, but A.J. Brown is elite. You can feel it. It's electric with A.J. Brown. The guy's an absolute stud, an absolute beast, an absolute monster, and I'm wearing this chain, by the way, in honor of him. The guy's an absolute beast. Okay, so we love A.J. Brown and what he gave us today. Tannehill, let's go ahead and get into Tannehill, because I was going to talk about Tannehill later, but you had the rushing touchdown at the end of the game, and then combine that with the huge throw to A.J. Brown, and he almost had the interception too, but Tannehill was fantastic today, a great way to punch us into the playoffs. He still needs to get that respect league-wide, and I think he helped himself today with those huge plays. He's just so dangerous with his legs because people still discount him and his running ability. I don't know why. This is a former wide receiver. Why are you doubting this man can't run the football? But hey, I guess whenever you're dedicating so many resources to stopping Derrick Henry, it allows for Ryan Tannehill to have the success that he has in the running game. So I love seeing that from Ryan Tannehill. That was fantastic. I liked Amani Hooker today for the most part. He did allow a first down, I want to say, to Jordan Akins, the Houston Texans tight end, but he had the huge interception today, and he just continues to be one of the better players in our secondary. So that I absolutely believe to be true. So with all that said, now let's go a little negative. Okay, the defense, and I don't know, how much can I continue to complain about the defense? Because it is kind of tiring at this point. I don't know why I expected us to only allow 20 points to the Houston Texans today. The game plan to me was simple. Remember my tighten up keys to the game here. Key number 2, a whole key was just limit Brandon Cooks. Like, that's the only player really that's going to hurt you for the Houston Texans in terms of their wide receivers and tight ends, okay? And still we found a way for Kiki QT, by the way, to give us hell and problems. That was embarrassing in and of itself. But that's all we had to do. And still, Kevin Byard, out of place, getting fooled, getting bamboozled by Brandon Cooks play after play after play. I don't know what's going on with Kevin Byard. You have one job. You're the free safety for this team. You can't let him go over the top. The flea flicker play. I mean, my goodness. I mean, what are you doing, Kevin Byard? Because the Dory Jackson on the play was obviously expecting Kevin Byard to be back there, but Kevin Byard been on a run action. We don't care about the Houston Texans running the football with David Johnson. The only way the Texans were going to beat us today was throwing the rock to Brandon Cooks. And we still allowed them to throw the ball to Brandon Cooks. It was ridiculous. Despite double covering him with Malcolm Butler, covering him with Adoree Jackson, covering him with Desmond, it didn't matter. We could not stop this man today. And it just gives me so much concerns for the playoffs. Now, luckily, I think there maybe not be a better team for us to face. Maybe the Cleveland Browns will be better. But other than the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens is a great matchup for us because they don't have wide receivers. And at the very least, the wide receivers they do have, Lamar Jackson doesn't throw to, right? He throws to his tight ends, which still hurt us, by the way. But he's not going to throw a lot to his wide receivers, which is why we do have a formula to beat the Ravens. Which is why this year we beat the Ravens. But every other team, including like Kansas City Chiefs, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, as we see with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the matchup that we had this season, they're going to rip us to shreds. I mean, we just don't have a shot in hell, and we just make it hard on ourselves. You know, some of those zone coverage calls that we had late in this game where we're just trying to hold on to the lead 41-38. We couldn't, or not even 41-38. At that point, it was 38-35. We couldn't even do that, allowing a big, conversion to Kiki QT, Adoree Jackson not being deep enough in terms of his zone. And why are we even running zone like that in that type of moment and aspect in the game? That ain't make much sense to me at all. So the defense is just a disaster. But they did make some plays when they, I don't even know when they had to. They did make some plays today. I mean, Jack Crawford, who remember that this guy even existed? Because the guy's barely done anything all season long, but he came down with the sack. I want to say Harold Landry got a sack. This Brooks Reed, who looks like he's been in Jumanji for the last 20 years. You see this guy's hair? Jesus. Looks like Robin Williams out of Jumanji. This guy came in and got a sack, but he also got pancaked by Roderick Johnson. So, it was just... The defense is bad. We still somehow ended up with 4 sacks today just because the Texans' offensive line is in such turmoil right now. They have so many pieces being moved in and out. Roderick Johnson, right now starting at left tackle. Laramie Tunsil was out today. Titus Howard has been out for a while. So it was a perfect storm for us to get 4 sacks. And even despite getting 4 sacks, Deshaun Watson ripped us to shreds. Okay, so it was embarrassing once again. And again, and this was a pretty deflated Houston Texans team, one that J.J. Watt was ripping into them, and their defense was awful. My God, we were walking in for touchdowns. This is why I knew. In my tighten up keys to the game, in my preview for this game, we're going to give this defense hell, the Houston Texans defense. Their defense is pathetic. It's honestly pathetic. Zach Cunningham and J.J. Watt are like the only people trying. No one else is trying. Everyone else, effort will come and go, but that's pretty much it. We were walking in for touchdowns today, just so easy, just so elegantly. I really thought there was a possibility Derrick Henry was going to get, the 233 rushing yards necessary to crack 2,000 rushing yards on the season today. But by the first quarter, second quarter, I was like, oh, he's for sure. And if anything, he might break the NFL record for rushing yards in a game right now, because that's how pathetic this Houston Texans rush defense was. And, not taking anything away from Derrick Henry, but thank God this year we got to face the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans rush defenses, because these are 2 of the worst rush defenses I've ever seen in my life. We're not much better, by the way, but still, it's just allowed the perfect storm for Derrick Henry to rush over 2,000 yards. So love all that. So Corey Davis, here's the thing with Corey Davis. And I don't like to talk about people's personal lives too much, but I'm just going to say this. Corey Davis had a child this week. I want to say like 3 or 4 days ago. I think he was distracted, okay? I get it. Now, you do have a job to do, and this is just a league and a profession where you just can't take that paternal time off. His mind was elsewhere today, people. Just keep that in mind, okay? Is it great that he had these drops? No. But he's had such a tumultuous year, his brother passing away and then the child now. I got what happened today, but with the 0 catches last week and then with the drops that he had today, little frustrating. He's going to have to show up in the playoffs if he still wants to secure that contract from us. He's going to get a contract somewhere. Okay, like the Washington football team is going to pay this guy like $13-14 million a year if we don't. Okay, so he's going to get a contract somewhere, I'm sure of that. But I want it to be here. I still want to have Corey Davis in the future. I like this combination. I like this duo of A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. And with Adam Humphries being a nothing player for us the last 2 years, that's all we got. I mean, I know we love Khalif Raymond, but he really doesn't do anything anymore, or at least we don't use him, let's say that. Cameron Batson, come on, in and out of the practice squad. Those are the 2 wide receivers that we have, period. Okay, and then Jonnu Smith, I mean, I think we're going to re-sign Jonnu Smith actually because his production has absolutely waned late in the season. I think he only ended up with maybe 400-ish receiving yards on the entire season. So I don't think Jonnu Smith is going to be too expensive, but Jonnu Smith, look, despite him playing very well early on this season, he's still not that reliable of a route runner, pass catcher in terms of one that you expect to even come down with a catch a game. Like he had 1 catch today. I barely remember it. There's just too many nothing games for Jonnu Smith right now. I think he's going to continue to improve, and maybe one day he will be that 6'7", maybe 800-yard receiving tight end that I'd like for him to be. He's not there yet. So with that said, I want Corey Davis re-signed still. I know today wasn't great for him, but I'm going to excuse that just considering the fact of what he's going through being a new father, right? I think that just plays a role that we have to take into account. So there was that. Defensively, I will give some credit here and there. I think David Long is playing well, relatively. He did allow the touchdown to Pharaoh Brown. He did allow the occasional big catch. I think he was mainly at fault for the David Johnson catch at the end, the one that really got the Texans' final drive really moving. But I see him coming down and making some plays on the run, which is more than I can say for Kevin Byard, because I don't see Kevin Byard doing a damn thing. Okay, so I think David Long is playing all right. I think Malcolm Butler's playing all right too. Now, he gets exposed here, he gets exposed there. I understand all of that. And my crown is still crooked. I understand all of that. But he's, I say, our best corner right now, because Adoree Jackson, I don't know. I need to really review the tape for him today. He was miserable last week, and then his first game, he was great. So he's just a little inconsistent, and this was the fear. Him being out for the entire season, how is this man going to respond to that? And currently, he's been up and down, and this is very unfortunate right now. Desmond King, he's okay. He's been a little disappointing. I expected more from Desmond King when we traded for him. So, overall, still very inconsistent play from this Titans secondary, mostly bad. But I'll say Malcolm Butler, for the most part, he plays the best of them. He almost had the interception late in the game, and it wasn't an interception. It was at best a simultaneous catch, and that goes to the receiver. People, stop it. But, I just saw some people arguing that. I'm like, come on. But by the way, the referees, again, kind of trying to screw us over here and there. Look, last week I was kind of defending the referees. This week it was a little ridiculous, okay? We had the Derrick Henry, was a 20-plus yard rushing touchdown that would have, we ended up taking the lead anyway, but would have given us the lead 38-35. That was called back due to a holding call on Aaron Brewer. Ridiculous call there. We had the Marshall Newhouse illegal formation call. That was absolutely absurd. So yes, the referees were having something against us today. I don't know why. I don't know what we do to these people, but apparently they had it out for us again. So we just love seeing that heading into the playoffs, right? Isn't that just fantastic? Yes, we absolutely love to have that. All in all, it's okay. The Tennessee Titans got it done. We won this game. We are champions of the AFC South. We are AFC South champions. Moving forward, we are the number 4 seed, and we host the Baltimore Ravens, a team that we did defeat this season, okay? We defeated the Baltimore Ravens this season. We're going to talk about this matchup this week. I might even make 2 videos, maybe, at least 1, on this matchup this week. We have a decent formula to beat the Baltimore Ravens because they don't throw to their wide receivers. If you throw to your wide receivers, okay, you're going to beat us most likely, if you're effective at it. Okay, but they don't really do that. So it kind of works in our favor, but can we limit the run game with Lamar Jackson? And is Lamar Jackson really going to choke another playoff game? He's been so bad. It just feels like at this point, okay, come on. If he loses another playoff game, if he doesn't show up in another playoff game, it's going to get a little absurd, a little ridiculous. And even John Harbaugh and his job might, I don't think he'd be fired yet, but, there'd be some questions there like, can John Harbaugh actually lead this guy to winning in the playoffs, right? There might be some rumblings there. So they're going to be desperate. Okay, so we really have to come out and show out for that game. And then from there, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think I'm pretty confident that the Buffalo Bills will win. I'm pretty confident that, who's the 3 seed again? The Steelers. And they should be facing the either the Browns or the Colts. I can't remember what the seeding is. Yeah, I think we most likely move on to face Buffalo if we win this game, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. The Steelers, I don't know what the Steelers right now. The Steelers are so weird. Let's just take it a game at a time. But whoa, we have to avoid the Kansas City Chiefs and even the Bills. I mean, the Bills are playing really well right now, but you're going to have to face one of them. Okay, if you win this game, you got to face one of them. And I'm pretty damn confident in that. The Bills, I don't see them losing right now. The good thing is we beat the Bills very convincingly this season, 42-16. So I like that, but I don't know what really happened in that game. I mean, I think it was just such a weird game, you know, with it being COVID, with it being a Tuesday night, the Bills not having practice the whole week, with the way they're playing now, the way Josh Allen is playing now, the way he is actually throwing to his wide receivers and Stephon Diggs and company right now. And I think that game, John Brown was out, and right now he's healthy. Yeah. I'm not so confident that we can repeat what happened against the Buffalo Bills earlier this season in the playoffs. But the point is this, we're in the playoffs, okay? And in the playoffs, anything can happen. We have seen teams go on miracle runs before, and we're going to see it again. We're in the dance, and now let's party, okay? So Tennessee Titans get it done, 41-38. What were your thoughts on this matchup? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.